So the Safety Act is getting passed, right? It's coming into effect, and a lot of y'all started spreading this fake news ass image, talking about some, oh, it's there are non-detainable offenses, and all these people are gonna be out on the street after getting charged with shit, and it's very off-putting to say the least, as somebody who has gone to jail, specifically has gone to jail for a felony, and has done so much work to, you know. So I got locked up for aggravated battery for allegedly fighting a police officer at a Black Lives Matter protest. At a protest where police officers were beating the fuck out of teenagers while they were wearing full body armor. They showed up with weapons. They were They were like, I almost said spray painting. Jesus, they were pepper spraying people at point blank range. Is knocking people on the ground. They knocked me to the ground a couple of times and stomped on me after telling me to disperse while I was walking away. And they did that to a bunch of other people. They were just beating the shit out of people. They just, but yeah, police beat the fuck out of me and a bunch of other people, and then charged us with felonies. Some of the felonies that were on this fake news ass image are felonies that are non-detainable offenses. And y'all's reaction to it was, oh no, they're going to let everybody out of jail and they're going to be back in the community. Oh no, scary. Oh, it's so scary. Oh, we're all in danger. Oh, we need to tighten up. Oh, we need to learn how to defend our houses because they're going to be out here on the street. And I found that reaction mildly disgusting for a couple of reasons. And I'm going to detail them. One, there's no such thing as a non detainable offense. There is no offense that you cannot be detained for. The police have detained people for jaywalking, for littering, for peeing in a corner in an alley, and all types of other shit. They have detained people for shit that would be a citation at best because they needed the quota. You know what I'm saying? They do that. So there is no such thing as a non-detainable offense. If the police want to detain you, they're going to detain you. They could detain you because they think you might have done something or because you fit the description and then bring you to the station and you get charged just for that to get thrown out because they find out that the motherfucker you fit the description of is 4 inches taller than you. And two, uh, losing cash bail does not mean that people aren't going to go to jail, right? It just means that whatever prosecutor is prosecuting you has to be able to prove pretty immediately that you are a danger to society and a danger to your community, right? That means they can't go, you were charged with this, so you must be dangerous, because quite frankly, that's not enough. We live in a country where people are innocent until proven guilty. It doesn't matter what people are charged for. What matters is whether or not we can prove that they did it and prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that they're actually guilty and actually dangerous. Bail did not do that, right? How many times did R. Kelly pay his bail and then go out there and hurt kids again, right? How many people are sitting in Cook County Jail for nonviolent drug offenses, for having weed, for stealing eggs out of a Jewel Osco because their kids hadn't eaten in a day? You know what I'm saying? Bail didn't keep your community safer. There's niggas in jail right now for weed, which a lot of y'all smoke, and there are murderers and assaulters and perverts that are walking around who paid their way out because they had the bread, they had the resources to do so. It was about resources and not having resources. It was never about safety because that shit didn't keep anybody safer. It never did. I don't know why the fuck y'all thought that. Y'all know better. Jail has never made anybody safer. Even for the people who do that shit. Jail ain't made nobody safer. We got more jails than we got schools, and the crime rate's still higher than a motherfucker. Like, be quiet. Shut up. There's also a lot of like sensationalism surrounding this whole, you dig, because like Chicago isn't even in the top. Like, we're not the most violent city in the state. Like, Rockford and Peoria are more violent than we are. Y'all just love sensationalism. Y'all love fear for some reason. Well, there's a reason for that, but we're gonna get into that. So the Safety Act pretty much dictates that cash bail is out and to detain a person or put them into a pretrial facility like Cook County Jail, you have to prove that they're actually dangerous, which is what the fuck we should have been doing always. You have to prove that a person did something or that they might do something or that they have the ability to do something and the motive to do something consistently before you move them out of their houses, move them out of their homes, right? Jail and the bail system didn't do that. There are people who went to jail for jaywalking or for like shoplifting a pack of gum because they needed their breath good on an interview and they might be housing insecure and they just needed something. And people went to jail, didn't have the money for bail, they lost job opportunities, they lost housing, and then by the time they get out, they done lost their crib, they done lost their job interview or that job, and now they gotta steal bigger shit or they gotta do bigger crime in order to be able to survive. The cash bail system not only did not address crime, in a lot of ways it made crime worse. So the shit that you're afraid of, the shit that y'all are reacting to, this reaction that y'all gave to getting rid of cash bail, kind of communicates to me that you don't actually care about public safety for real, at least not deeply, because your idea of safety is predicated on a system that not only did not keep you safe, but actually created more of the issues that y'all are afraid of. You feel me? Like, there's a lot of people who wouldn't commit crime right now if they hadn't gotten locked up the first time. Now, for most felonies, like kidnapping, robbery, second degree murder, any of the stuff that was on the image, these people aren't gonna get out. The prosecutor's gonna make arguments that they got charged with murder. Prosecutor's gonna make arguments that these people are charged with murder, so they're dangerous. And most judges are gonna go, okay, yeah, you're dangerous. You're gonna go to Cook County Jail, and they're gonna stay in jail. The only thing that's being changed is that it's equalizing the playing field on who can and can't pay their way out. People are not going to go to jail any less. That's it. People are not going to go to jail any less. Especially because a lot of these prosecutors and a lot of these judges are racist. People are still going to go to jail. People are still going to go to jail in droves. A lot of people who don't need to be in jail are still going to go to jail. Honestly, nobody really needs to be in jail because jail doesn't work and jail doesn't keep our community safer. Again, we got hella jails. We got very few schools. They closed down all them schools. Crime rate's still up. Crime rate rose a couple of times. You feel me? Now, what I want to talk about is y'all reaction to this, because y'all's reaction to this is steeped in fear. And a lot of that fear comes from like trauma from the community. I'm not going to sit here and talk to you as if crime ain't happening, as if crime hasn't happened to me. But as a person who has been on the inside and outside, I could say pretty intently that a lot of people who have been affected by inner community crime, like your community has harmed you, y'all develop this sort of crime and punishment mindset where if anybody's been near a jail, touched a jail, it triggers you and it brings you back to that time where somebody may have hurt you or something might have happened or your house got broken into. You came outside and your car was gone. And everybody who go to jail ain't that. And we have found more often than not that a vast majority of the people in jail aren't. So fighting against this, being upset about this, having this knee-jerk reaction to this isn't going to keep you safe, and it isn't going to change what happened, right? And if we're going to be critical about this, if we're going to be honest about this, we cannot have conversations about community care and community accountability until a lot of us forgive black people for some of the stuff that happened to us over time. And I say that from a place of knowing I could not do some of the work that I was doing with protest communities, and I could not have the conversations that I'm having now until I forgave the people who jumped me in front of my house when I was a shorty. And that took another decade, right? It took me till I was in my mid-20s to like fully let that go. And if that ain't you, if you feel like you ain't got that in you, like you can't let that go, that's totally fine. But like, it is not fair for you to have this reaction of no, all those people deserve to be in jail when there's empirical evidence that a lot of people who are going to Cook County Jail have not had trial, right? Because Cook County Jail is a pretrial facility. That a lot of people in prisons have not had trial. They just got moved out of Cook County Jail and moved to a different facility because they was in Cook County too long. It is not fair for you to demand that people be held in jail for longer than they need to be and to not have due process and to have their rights taken away because you're afraid because something happened to you when you were 13, 14, 15, 16, in your early 20s, in your early 30s, whenever. It ain't fair that droves of black people get fucked over because you afraid because somebody stole your Game Boy. You feel me? That's not right. It's just not, it's not right. That ain't right. People don't deserve to rot in jail without trial because something happened to you that you did not let go of. And I'm sorry that that happened to you. I am. But like, other people don't deserve to get fucked over for decades because of your fear. That's not, that ain't right. That is the opposite of what the fuck we're supposed to be doing. You cannot save a community of people by throwing people out of it when they make you uncomfortable, especially without evidence. You're not gonna have a community no more. In a world of racial profiling, in a world of police violence, in a world with a gang database where police officers can accuse you of a crime because they think you're in a gang because of the block you live on, in a world where police officers shoot black people and then blame other black people, which creates turf wars between gangs that didn't even have beef for real. Because police then shot somebody and then blamed the GDs when the GDs wasn't even over there that day. And now the block is hot because they done fucking sent somebody off. In a world where shit like that happens, and that has happened a lot, we do not get to throw people away because they were charged with something, not tried, not convicted, charged with something because you are afraid. To believe that a charge means that somebody is dangerous and then to treat them as such and demand that they not be released from jail when nothing has been proven about them is to take police testimony at face value and to take county testimony at face value when they have lied myriad times. And I just, and it also means that we don't believe in due process, right? It also means that even though we pay a lot of lip service to innocent until proven guilty, we still treat people as if they're guilty before they had trial. Job I work at now, their HR department told my old boss not to hire me because despite the fact that I have still not had trial for what I was charged for at that protest, that shit showed up on my background check. If my old boss had the attitude that some of y'all had now, I would not have a job. I would still be on house arrest for a crime that I have not been tried, let alone convicted for, and I would still be on lockup. And it really bothers me that a lot of you consider yourselves my friend. Like y'all think y'all my homies. Y'all think y'all down for me and down for my cause and down for the cause for a lot of protesters, while also acting the way you act when laws get passed that could potentially help people like me dealing with the prison industrial complex. Because, to be frank, you scared of niggas. It also bothers me because it shows me that a lot of you don't see yourselves in other black people fundamentally, especially when they do things that you don't agree with. Because a lot of y'all have this, that old Chris Rock joke, there's black people and there's niggas. I love black people. I can't stand niggas. Nobody likes niggas. Like that old joke. A lot of y'all see people who have been charged with crime and you've gone, oh, those niggas over there, those ones are scary, but I'm good. Keep those niggas out of my neighborhood. Keep those niggas away from me. Not realizing that you are niggas. Y'all is the niggas. We am the niggas. Because police get called when a crime happens, right? Shooting happens on your block. They can't differentiate between you and the person shooting. and then you get profiled, or your cousin get their ID run for being in your house, and then they take them away for a couple of days because they got old charges, and that's probable cause to take them in, even though they live in the house that just got broke into, it just got shot up. Meaning you didn't got your own family incriminated. Like, a lot of y'all don't think that y'all are niggas. A lot of y'all don't think that this should apply to you because of respectability politics and shit like that. You think, oh no, I'm a good black person, I just need the niggas out of my community. No, you are niggas. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner we can fix everything going on around us. We have to stop treating black people who make decisions differently than we do as some disease that needs to be cured, or some tumor that needs to be removed from our communities in order for us to have access. Because what this means is that y'all not about liberation for real. Y'all just want to perform white supremacy in black spaces with other black people that you deem respectable and safe. And that's not good enough for me, and it shouldn't be good enough for you. Like, when I see a black person doing something that I wouldn't necessarily do, I don't think, oh, that nigga's a criminal, lock him the fuck up, get him out of my community, he's ruining my community. What I see is, this is somebody who's in the same struggle I am. I'd like to have a conversation with them because, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. We got to figure something else out for you to do. But also, you in the same poverty that I'm in. And I'm not finna fault you for reacting to white supremacists, patriarchy, and white supremacy and capitalism in ways that I wouldn't, because maybe the desperation that I've dealt with is not on par with the desperation that you dealt with. You know what I'm saying? I've been homeless multiple times. So when, like, I've seen homeless people, like, steal bread, I've minded my fucking business because I've lived outside before and I've been hungry for a few days before. I'm not finna snitch and be like, this is ruining the community, this is why the grocery prices are going up, because that's not how that fucking works. And quite frankly, if we lived in a community, somebody would have fed that nigga and given them somewhere to live by now. Y'all talk about community safety and y'all don't even have communities. Like, stop calling things. Just because you live in a neighborhood doesn't mean y'all have a community. You don't know your neighbors. You don't know the people who live in your building. You don't know the houseless people in your neighborhood. You don't talk to them. You don't sit down with them. You don't buy them anything. You don't kick it with them. You don't know the gangbangers in your hood. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in my block know me. Everybody on my block know me, and if they don't know my name, they know my face, and I say hi to them. And you know what I'm saying, I've taught their kids how to do skateboard tricks. You know what I'm saying, I've danced with them. I've gone to block club parties with them. I know the hood niggas down the block. You know what I'm saying? They don't bother me. I've introduced myself. They recognize me. I'm friendly. You know what I'm saying? I live in a community. Y'all live in houses where you don't know anyone and where you don't talk to your neighbors. And then you go, the community. You don't have community. Community is something you build, not somewhere you live. Living somewhere don't mean you have a community. So y'all talk about community safety and you don't even build communities for real. You just live in that bitch. You just pay rent, sleep there, and then go to the north side, make your money, right? And then you move the second shit get hot because you don't know your own people. And you can't differentiate between your neighbors and somebody who did something wrong. And quite frankly, you don't think any of them are worthy of your time. Like, you don't live in communities. Like, shut the fuck up about community. None of you have community. None of you build it. None of you. Community starts at here, and none of y'all even have that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shut the fuck up. Like, if we want to talk about holes in the Safety Act, we need to talk about how there are people who are going to go before judges, not be dangerous. The prosecution's going to argue that they're dangerous, and the judge is going to agree anyway. And there won't be a cash bail system for them. And the cash bail system isn't working. But this system only works in a vacuum where judges are fair and honest. And since we know that isn't the fucking case, a lot of people are still going to be locked up who still ought not be in jail. Right? Because as much as this is about proof, there are some prosecutors who just have very good relationships with their judges, and they're going to go, oh, I think this person's dangerous. Look at what they're charged for. And for a lot of judges, that's going to be enough. That's something that we should be talking about in regards to the Safety Act, because that is a huge hole. For this to work properly, it would have to operate under the presumption that judges are going to be fair, honest, and that prosecutors are going to be truthful. And prosecutors actively hide information from judges during bond court, right? I got released from house arrest 2 years later because my judge straight up told me he was working with limited information because the prosecution didn't tell him all of the facts about me, including the fact that I didn't have a criminal record when I got arrested. Never been locked up before. Didn't fucking matter. He was never fucking told. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that happens. You get a judge like that who just might be ill-informed, you gonna go to jail. That's a huge hole, despite the Safety Act. Not because I couldn't pay bail, but because it was left up to the decision of people who might not make good decisions about me. That's something we should absolutely be talking about, because this thing is very good in theory, but like in practice, a lot of fucked up judges, a lot of fucked up prosecutors are going to do whatever the fuck they want to people anyway. And a lot of mistakes are going to be made because of bureaucracy. Because if anybody's dealt with Cook County Jail, they are inundated with paperwork and losses. They lose people's paperwork all the time. I got friends who got cases because shit was supposed to be thrown out, but it got left on somebody's desk. And then it got moved to a new judge who decided not to throw it out because shit got left on somebody's desk. You know what I'm saying? That shit happens, you know? Like, that we should absolutely be talking about. But the fact that niggas that got charges are getting let go because we weren't able to prove that they were violent, that's what y'all are afraid of because you decided that charges mean convictions? Yeah, nah, fuck you. Y'all do not believe in due process. Essentially, y'all don't care about communities for real. Because if you did, niggas that live next to you wouldn't scare you so goddamn much that the police saying some shit about them would make you want them locked the fuck up again, especially without due process. So shut the fuck up about community safety, because you don't know what you're talking about. Living in the community does not mean look, I know we do this thing where we're like, everybody's opinions are valid, and like, sure, everybody's opinions are valid. But some of y'all opinions are empirically fucking false because you don't fucking look shit up. You have a valid, incorrect opinion, please keep it to yourself. Love y'all, but sometimes it's okay to shut the fuck up. I promise you, sometimes it's okay to shut the fuck up. I'm gonna do that right now.